so you want to just start up with the reference there. All right, so before we get started, please take a look at visual aid number 1, a photo of these brake cards from individuals that opted to drink and drive. Many people in America like to have a cold beverage when hanging out with friends. You don't have to put it there anymore. Family, at a party, at a sporting event, at a bar, and the list can go on and on where people have a beverage. Now I want you to take a moment and remember the last time you were in a situation where you A, had to drink too much, or you were with someone that drank too much. What did you do? Did you say something? Did you stop? Did you intervene? Or did you not do anything at all? Most of us have probably been in that situation, some more than others. I took the time and delved into researching the topic of drinking and driving, and I'll persuade you throughout this speech that we need to put a stop to this. Throughout the speech, you will see why drinking and driving is an issue and why it needs to be prevented. We must take a stand against drinking and driving. I feel it is important for you first to understand why drinking and driving is a problem here in America. What is drinking and driving, and why has it become an issue in America? According to the National Council of Alcoholism and Drug Dependence, the definition of driving under the influence, also known as driving while intoxicated, drunk driving, or impaired driving, is the crime of driving a motor vehicle while impaired by alcohol or drugs, including those prescribed by physicians. With alcohol, a drunk driver's level of intoxication is typically determined by measurement of blood alcohol content, known as BAC. BAC measurement is in excess of a specific threshold such as 0.05 to 0.08, defines the criminal offense with no need to prove impairment. Now, we'll take a look at visual aid number 2, which came from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, which shows a chart that breaks down the blood alcohol content. All right, so as you can see here, with the chart that was provided by the CDC, it shows the number of beers all the way to the percentage, and then it also shows what your effects are per the number of beverages that you've had. So 2 beers put you at 0.02, about 4 beers put you at 0.08, which is the legal limit in most states. And then if you have 7 beers, you're just at about double the blood alcohol concentration levels. However, according to Mothers Against Drunk Driving, the amount of alcohol required to become impaired differs according to how fast you drink, your weight, your gender, or how much food you have in your stomach. Obviously, this is going to depend on who you are and how much you drink. Because of these variabilities, the safest choice is always not to drink and drive. Now that we broke down some basic definitions and principles, let us take a look at some historical data and facts. All the data was pulled from the CDC site I mentioned before, along with the Drunk Driving Stats Organization website. Every day, almost 30 people in the United States die in motor vehicle crashes that involved an alcohol-impaired driver. This amounts to 1 death every 51 minutes. The annual cost of alcohol-related crashes totals more than $59 billion. In 2013, 10,000 people were killed in alcohol-impaired driving crashes, accounting for nearly 1/3 of all traffic-related deaths in America. In 2012, over 1.3 million drivers were arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol or narcotics. That's 1% of the 121 million self-reported episodes of alcohol-impaired driving among U.S. adults every year. In 2010, 112 million people got behind the wheel when they drank too much. From these historical stats, the risk isn't worth it. Now that we know a little bit about the problem of drinking and driving in America, let's talk about how we can prevent it. No matter what the issue that everybody has in their everyday lives, there's always ways that we can prevent different situations from arising. With drinking and driving, that is no different than any other issue. So how do we attempt to curb this problem or put a stop to this problem? The answer is a simple one. It all starts with the person in the mirror, each and every one of us. Realizing you either have a drinking problem, you drank too much, or you're with people that drink too much. It starts with you to make that interference. Most of us like to be the tough, macho person that doesn't like to admit that we've had too much or we're okay to drive, etc., etc. If you can't take care of yourself, how do you expect to help others in the same situation? Especially here in the military, the numbers are shrinking and the tempo is picking up. So the more we lose people and the more we lose people by the choices that they make, we need to put a stop to it. You also need to be that person that steps in when you feel other people have drank too much. A taxi ride home is a lot cheaper than a funeral. There are many resources that help us, that are out there that helps us or anyone that has a problem. One website that has a lot of beneficial information is the AA website. Another resource that was used that has a lot of helpful prevention tips for you if you've been drinking, if you've been throwing a party, or detecting drunk drivers was the State Farm Learning Center. The website/handout is my visual aid number 3. As you can see on this website, it breaks it down into when you've been drinking alcohol. So obviously, 1, you want to be responsible. 2, choose a designated driver. And the definition of designated driver is one that says they're not going to have any alcoholic beverages. Like we mentioned before, call a taxi or hide your keys, give them to somebody else. When you're throwing a party, some different things you can do is offer non-alcoholic beverages. Serve plenty of food, like we said, have food in your system. Stop serving alcohol well before the party ends. Arrange alternate transportations, and never serve minors. And then obviously the last part is more for law enforcement, different signs that will detect if you've been drinking and driving. So in conclusion, as you can see throughout our great country, impaired driving continues and is a threat to everyone on the road, not only yourself. We all need to realize that preventing it starts with each and every one of us. I challenge you all not to add to the statistical numbers. The next time that you find yourself in a situation which calls for action, I hope you make the decision not to drive and or you intervene when someone else is about to make that same mistake.